So hopefully yesterday was helpful. Hopefully you've defined your target audience and you're ready to grow your group and invite more people. Also, let me know if you invited friends, how many members you're up to. Definitely, if you have a group already, post your group below because we would love to all support you and let us know how many members you have. So the whole goal this week is to grow your group by 50 members in 5 days. So hopefully we're all well on our way. Some of your friends have accepted the invite and you are ready for today's lesson. Today, day 2, we are talking about setting up questions for your group in order to qualify the leads. We don't just want everybody in our group, right? It'd be real easy to create a spammy group with like a million, people that we don't necessarily want to do business with. So that's not what we're here for. We are here for qualified leads. So also we're going to talk a little bit about creating a freebie, right? If you haven't created a freebie for your audience, that's definitely something to think about and can be included in those questions that you set up. So stick around for that. It's going to be good. So let me know in the comments below, because what is so important about qualifying leads, tell me in the comments, have you ever had a bad lead, right? This is something I feel like that we don't talk about all that much, but it happens, right? Say bad lead in the comments below if you have ever gotten a call with someone and realized in about 2.2 seconds, this is not somebody I want to do business with, nor are they even interested in my business, right? Has this happened to anyone? I would love to hear from you. So that's really what today's topic is about. Today, setting up questions in your group in order to qualify them to be a potential lead, right? The whole point of creating our group is for our business, to help grow our business and connect with other like-minded women or, whoever's in your target audience, as well as we want them to be potential customers, right? We want them to be people that we would potentially want to work with, whatever that looks like, right? And there might be some that are maybe on the fence or in that gray area, but we would still love to connect with them. And that's okay too, right? But we definitely don't need a whole bunch of spammers who are taking advantage of our group or people that just don't fit the profile, right? We don't need everybody in our group. And that's really what a little bit about yesterday's recap is, that we can't be everything to everybody, right? And that is why it's so important to define your target audience so that you're really going after a smaller group that you can give results to, right? You don't just want to offer your services to everyone because it's not going to be applicable, right? We really want to be targeting our marketing and our messaging for the people that are going to resonate with what we have to offer. So that's obviously the goal, right? So real quick background about me. Again, if you're new here, my name is Christina. My husband and I had a little bike shop, coffee shop that I love to talk about. But overall, I've had an Etsy shop, a brick and mortar, all kinds of different businesses really since 2014. But I always say I've been helping businesses be seen online for the last 10 years. So over the last decade, I've certainly learned a lot of what not to do and a lot of what works. So I would love to share that with you. But again, I love to talk about the bike shop, coffee shop, because I feel like that was really my learn by fire moment, right? And that was really my transformation, because I had to learn how to get people in the door. And that's really where I just really felt this, my heart opened up to small businesses to understand how small businesses run our communities and how it's such a struggle, right? If we could all share our resources and share our knowledge, I really think every business could be successful, as well as sharing our business, right? So giving our money to smaller businesses in our community certainly helps. But, I'm not saying I don't shop at Target, right? Target is such an amazing resource, but I love supporting the little guys because they really are the ones who are giving back to our communities, right? I think that's so important. So with the bike shop, I talked a little bit about this yesterday, how growing or figuring out our target audience was really a challenge, right? I thought it was in a different sector. I thought we were going after the professional cyclists, or maybe not professional, but higher end cyclists compared to the families, right? But I really found I loved connecting more with the families, and that meant lower ticket items, but we needed to sell more of them. So obviously we needed a higher volume of that. So that's something to think about when you're figuring out your target audience, is who can afford my services And does this work for my income goals, right? Does this work for the services I offer and the income that I want to make? So those are all things, or the income that I have to make, right, in order to pay my expenses. So those are all things to kind of consider. What I think is really important about today's topic, setting up questions for your group. So you want to have a setting, right? And if you're confused at all about the settings of your group, you want it to be a private group, but you want it to be seen. You want it to be searchable. So there's different settings in the group settings. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me. But you want to make sure that it can be seen, but that it is private. And for it to be a private group, you can set up questions before people are allowed to join. And then you have the opportunity to review those questions and review those potential members of your group. And that way you can decide who gets in and who doesn't. The point being, right, is that you really want to filter out the riffraff. I call this the riffraff, right? If you have ever posted something on Craigslist or even Facebook Marketplace, right, there seems to be a lot of riffraff. So, and what that means are people who are, perhaps not interested in what you have at all. Maybe they're actually trying to sell you, and they're not in your target audience, right? That's not who we want to be spending our time with. Or they might just want a freebie, and maybe that's fine too. So the best way, I think, to kind of filter this out is to set up these qualifying questions. So we're going to talk about the 3 questions to kind of set up for your group to make sure that you're filtering out the riffraff. I say this all the time with the bike shop. We loved creating freebies. That's one of my favorite marketing tactics. Give something in order to get something, right? Give something for your audience that they would want, that you yourself might want, and that they would be willing to give their email address in order to get that something. So I think this is such a great creative way to kind of think about what you could offer your customers that is a part of your repertoire, right? What do you have to offer that you can give away for free? So it doesn't have to be, giving away your program or giving away your secrets or things like that. But what are some teaching moments? What are some downloadable little bits of information that you could give your audience that they would be willing to give their email address for? So this can be like tips or tricks in your industry. It could be maybe like a self-care checklist. It could be a recipe. It could be a pattern for a cute craft, something related to your business that gets them, again, in that mindset about your services and offers. So for the bike shop, right, we came up with a lot of different ways. We often gave out free coffee. So I just needed people in my door to come in my door, see what we had to offer. Oh, we had repairs, we had new bikes, we had parts, we had other coffee items, right? Higher ticket coffee items. So they came in with their free cup of coffee. It was just a free black coffee. And they could come in and get that coffee and then see what we had to offer. So that was really my tactic, and that got a lot of people in the door. So much so, in fact, right, we were closing our doors and people were still asking for free coffee. So that's something to think about, right? When you're a consumer, we don't often think of it from the perspective of a business owner. But if someone is going out of business, that's perhaps not the time to be asking for freebies, right? Just a side note. But it really takes all types, and it really got me to thinking that, okay, there are so many business owners who are on an island by themselves, right? I said this yesterday in yesterday's live that we can often feel like we have to do it all ourselves, and no one is understanding, right, what you're going through. And I just think that's not true. If we could get to know each other and collaborate a little more and network a little more, we would really find that we have so much more in common than we thought, right? And that we're all going through the same struggles. So I think it's really important to connect with other women and other business owners. And that's what this group is really for. So if you have questions or you're struggling with anything, I really think most people in this group are wanting to help each other. So feel free to reach out to anyone if you're struggling with something. I would love to chat with anyone anytime. If you feel like you're struggling with marketing, with where to go with your business, if you're just really feeling stuck, I'm always available for a quick chat. So definitely feel free to reach out. Don't feel like you're alone and that you have to do it all by yourself, right? That's not what successful businesses end up doing. We all kind of utilize each other's knowledge. We've all had a different perspective along the way, and we can really benefit from each other, and to be able to help each other grow. So that's really the goal. But anyway, so back to the freebies, right? We created a lot of freebies at the bike shop, the free coffee. We also had, I loved making coloring pages, right? That's my little creative outlet. So even like adult coloring pages, right? Those are so much fun, and with the, really therapeutic, and you can make some really pretty pictures that could really be a part of your industry, right? If you're selling, a mindset service, you might want to think about like some affirmations in a cute coloring page, or, something like that. And then, of course, put some kind of offer on that coloring page. And man, if you are at all selling to moms or families, right, there is such I think, an underutilized resource that you can provide a coloring page to different schools or Little League, or goodie bags, or home baskets, the new homes, right, or new apartments or apartment complexes. Anyway, there's all kinds of resources, possibilities, right, for freebies. So I love talking about freebies because I love giving away something that is helpful and is a good resource for people that I feel like I can give away for free, and then I get to know somebody, right? Or I get their email and I can follow up with them later. That's my favorite. So really think about what kind of freebie you could offer. And if you need some help thinking of some ideas, right, definitely feel free to reach out, or just comment freebie below, and I would love to chat with you about how to come up with a freebie that would work for your industry or for your business. So down to the nitty gritty of today. So the questions to qualify. So the reason we want to qualify is we don't want a lot of riffraff. We don't want people in our group who are not interested, right? Plain and simple. We don't want to waste our time getting on calls with people who are not interested, right? So we really want to filter out the riffraff. So the 3 questions that we really want to set up for your group. The first one, you want to ask them something about your target audience. So, are you in this target audience, essentially, is what you want to say. So if your target audience is moms over the age of 40, your first question could be, are you a mom over the age of 40 who is struggling with health and wellness? Are you struggling with anxiety? Are you, whatever that service that you're offering, whoever that applies to, the first question is something about, are you that person? Are you the person who, might need this, blah, 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 blah. So really think about what that question might look like, right? It could just be, are you a mom? And, maybe someone who is a lawyer might want to pipe in on this. I would love to hear if there's, are there rules against asking? I'm assuming there's probably rules asking about age. You probably don't want to be specific, but, are you a woman business owner, right? I think that's an okay thing to ask for, but there may be some rules about something like that, but it's a private group. I mean, we're just getting together for fun. So I think everything is okay. But the first question is, are you in this audience, right? Is this for you? Is this group for you? Kind of a thing. The second question is really that freebie. Would you like my free tips on how to, decorate for Christmas? Or would you like my free business tips or printables on how to, set your profile up on Instagram? Or, something, it could be something specific or something kind of general too. Do you want this free recipe on these amazing brownies? Or, something else that really fits your business and your target audience? Do you want this, do you want this freebie? Provide your email below. So the second question is really asking for that email. Give your email below and it can be generic. If you send out a newsletter with free tips every week, or every month, you could just say, hey, would you be interested in my newsletter to get free tips and free recipes, or, whatever you're going to share in your newsletter. If you do a blog, right, this is a great way to advertise your blog, is to say, hey, would you be interested in my newsletter where I share free resources? And the resources being your blog, right? So if you write a blog about, if it's mindset, if it's wellness, if it's other services, then you could say that, would you sign up for free resources about XYZ? Provide your email below. So the second question is really about that freebie. So do you want this freebie essentially, and give your email below. Then, of course, you want to make sure that in your system, you have a way of getting them that freebie. So this could be an automation, and we can talk a little bit about the logistics, right? If anyone's confused about how to kind of set that up on the back end, we can go into more detail there. If you have questions, you can certainly reach out to me. But you definitely want to make sure if they have said, yes, they want this freebie, that you then follow up with that freebie, right? That they're getting that. That is the gold mine. You want to grow your email list with that email and make sure that they get that freebie, whatever they asked for, whatever you said you would give. So then the third question is really about, do you want me to follow up with you? Meaning, is there something further that I can help with? So this is really where you can think about, is it that discovery call that you're wanting people to sign up for, or what is the first step that you want people to do? I always say the gateway offer, right? What is the first offer that you have that you want people to sign up for? Is it a quiz? Do you want to send them to your website? Do you want to, and maybe not send them to your website, I would say it's a little bit more personal. It could just be a yes or no, right? Where, do you want more information about this? They can say yes or no, right? That way you know they're interested in that gateway offer. So that's a really powerful and really great place to get the hot lead, right? This is qualifying the lead. I don't want to follow up with you, right, if you're not interested in what I have. So first, I want to ask you, are you that person in my target audience? The second question, do you want my freebie, right? And here's the email. That way, if they say no to any of the other questions, right, if they're not in your target audience, you can decide to approve them or not approve them, obviously. But if they're not interested in your gateway offer, they may just want your freebie, and that's okay, right? So, so definitely the email, providing the email allows you to send them the freebie and maybe follow up later. Maybe they might be interested later on for your gateway offer. And that's the whole point of joining your group, right? Is that to really warm and nurture them up to that other offer. So, and then of course to your paid offer, right? So the three questions you really want to set up are you that person? Here's my freebie, provide your email, and then do you want me to follow up, or are you interested in this gateway free offer? Whatever and it would usually be a free offer. It could be a paid offer there, a low end item for a paid offer, but a way for you to reach out to them. And then that would be your list of people to really follow up with or to send a direct message to, right? If they want your gateway offer, if they said yes, make sure that you obviously follow up and say, hey, I saw that you were interested in this, let's talk about it further. So, so those are some things we can talk about specifically to your business. If you're kind of having trouble about that gateway offer, or even just getting people onto those calls, let's talk more about how to get people on those discovery calls so that you can pitch your paid offers. So, so that would be a way to get those leads. This is really how we get the qualified leads. Is they come, they see that your group is available, they enter, and they need to answer these questions, and that way you can decide if they're in your group or not. And then, of course, you probably only want to let in people who are in your target audience, right? So if they have said yes to question number one, that would allow them to be into your group. So these are some really important questions, right? If you are at all have questions about that freebie or your free offer, we can talk more about that. I talk all about that in my program that we can discuss a little bit further, right? I offer a lead accelerator program, and that's really where we dive deep into all of these little pieces of setting up the group and getting the right qualified leads. If you feel like you are getting on a lot of calls with people who are saying no or are completely not interested, and you're frustrated that you're talking and wasting your time with people who are not even interested in what you offer, then that's really, right, that's really some good feedback to figure out who is my target audience, who would be more interested, and how do I qualify them? Because I don't want to keep wasting my time with people who, right, they liked my post, but then they're really not interested in what I have to offer. That's really kind of a waste of your time, right? You're giving a bunch of stuff away for free, and they're not interested in what you really have to offer. They're not really interested in being a paid customer. So that's really where you have to kind of decide where you draw that line, right? And so the qualified leads, I think, is what is more important. You don't just want to be hopping on calls with anybody, right? You want to know, are they even interested in what you have to offer? Are they struggling with the problem that you fix? So those are really the ways that these questions, these 3 questions, can help you qualify the people getting into your group. So that's really important. We really don't just want everybody into our group. That would be a bunch of riffraff, right? That's what I call riffraff. You don't need the people, you don't need the spammers who are taking advantage of your group and either just want to advertise, which, you know, and again, in this group, I want people to advertise their groups, but also I'm sharing information that I think is valuable for you to learn as well. So same with your groups, right? You want people to come in and learn free information, but also you want them to be interested in whatever it is that you offer. So, so these 3 questions are a way to qualify those people. So, so definitely take advantage of those 3 questions, and you could do more questions if you wanted to, right? And there's always I would always do the Facebook rules, right? The rules about, you know, kindness and promotion and things like that, and you can kind of set that up as well in your questions. And they have a generic one to make it easy, right? If you just want the generic Facebook group rules, which I think is really nice, you know, like be kind to each other, you know, this is a safe place, like all of those things. So I think that's important to make sure that you set up. So that is our goal for today. So I would say the homework is setting up those 3 questions. If you already have those 3 questions, then you're good to go. If you need to fine tune those questions, or if you feel like you're getting not the right people into your group, then maybe we need to think about fine-tuning those questions to get more yeses, right? We want people to say yes to your free offer and be giving their email to your freebie, right? So whatever is something that downloadable or something that you don't have to touch, to give them the freebie. That's one of the questions. And then the other one would be the free offer, to follow up with them about a free call, getting them on more calls. So definitely set up those 3 questions. If you have questions about those questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you need to fine tune your questions a little bit more, definitely let me know. And if you have, if you're struggling to create your freebie, right? Let's talk more about that, because I love getting creative about what freebies you could offer. I think there's so many different ways that you could do this. And I think every business could really offer a freebie in order to get emails, to grow your email list. It's just a really great lead magnet, right? I hate using those terminologies because I feel like it means so many different things to so many different people, but that's really essentially what you're doing, is you're giving someone something in order to get their email. So it's a freebie, a lead magnet, something like that, giving them something so that they are willing to give their email, and then they can hear your newsletter, and you know, you can follow up with your offers later. So I think that's a beautiful way of exchanging and getting to know your audience is with the freebie. So for this challenge, at the end of 5 days, I'll be announcing a winner of a free power hour. So normally I charge for a power hour strategy session, I charge $250. So I'm giving one away, one power hour strategy session at the end of the 5 days. So if this is something you're interested in, definitely stick around. Say challenge accepted below if you're interested in this power hour strategy session. In this session, we can get so much done in an hour. I love these sessions because we can really just power through a bunch of action items in order to get you unstuck. So really quickly, we can identify what it is you're struggling with. Is it a mindset block that's not letting you get over this hump in order to take the next step in your business? So those are some things we can really fine tune and talk specifically about your business and really figure out what is going to be the next most bang for your buck action item, right? Like what's really going to get you to where you want to be. If you feel like you're not getting the qualified leads that you want every week, let's talk, right? We need to fine tune perhaps your group, maybe your questions to qualify, and whatever strategy you're doing in order to get people into your group. So let's talk more specifically about that for your business, if that's something that you're interested in. So definitely, if you want to be entered to win that free power hour, just say challenge accepted below, and I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out in the chat. That is all for today's day 2 of the Grow Your Group Challenge, 50 members in 5 days. Don't forget to post your groups below. We would all love to support you. Or if you just want to tell us how many members are in your group, how many you're up to today, we would love to see that. All right, thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.